Gemara here, a very Chav Ches Amud Aleph, and I'm gonna recap a little bit from Chav Ches Amud Aleph, and that way just to because this Gemara is a little bit technical, that way we could and we'll finish up this Gemara today on Chav Ches Amud Beis.
Sorry, I guess is what he calls in.
Okay, so we'll recap from yesterday's Gemara. The Gemara yesterday, the Mishnah we spoke at yesterday, said that Nashim are Paturos from Mitzvah Sukkah. It's the Mishnah on Chav Ches Amud Aleph, the bottom of the Mishnah of Chav Ches Amud Aleph. The Mishnah said that Nashim are Paturos from Mitzvah Sasei Shazman, Nashim are Paturos from Mitzvah Sukkah. So the Gemara begins right away. The Gemara we spoke at yesterday said, how do we know this? How do we know? I'll read again quickly from the Gemara, that way we can get right into the Sugi here. It's one long Sugya. How do we know that Nashim are Paturos from Mitzvah Sukkah? The Gemara answers, the Torah bottom. We learned in the Brisa, Ezrach. The pasuk regarding Sukkah says, it said Ezrach. If it were to say just Ezrach, Ze Ezrach, that would include anyone. That would include men and women. Ha Ezrach, the extra hey, L'hoitzi es Nashim, that excludes women, because hey comes to say a select group from the men and women. That's going to include men. Men have a certain prominence when it comes to mitzvahs. So that would take men and exclude women. The Gemara just the Brisa says kol, and what's the kol coming to do? L'rabbeis katanim. It comes to include katanim. Although we spoke out before that katanim are potter, and the Mishnah said the katanim are potter, but the kol is come to it's an asmach that we spoke of. It's not a real source, but it's an asmach that katanim are chayiv at least on a rabbinic level. Omar Mar. Now the Gemara is going to analyze the Brisa. Omar Mar. Ha Ezrach. It says ha Ezrach. L'hoitzi es hanashim, to exclude women, right? The hey comes to exclude women. Lememra. Does that you mean to say? The Ezrach, that Ezrach alone, without the hey, Bein Nashim, Bein Gavri Mashma, is talking about women and women. Does it imply men and women? Can that be? Vatanya, we learned in a Brisa regarding the fasting on Yom Kippur, Ha Ezrach. It says over there, Ha Ezrach. And then within that Brisa we say L'Rabbeis es Hanashim Hazrachiyos, to include the native woman, in the mitzvah Shechayavos Binoi, that they're chayiv in the same mitzvah of affliction. They're chayiv in the fasting of Yom Kippur. Alma, we see from there that Ezrach alone, Gavri Mashma, it implies just men, and you need the hay to include the woman. So by Sukkah we have the word Ezrach, that's men and women. By Yom Kippur we have Ezrach, that means just men, and need the hay to include the woman. So it's a stira. What does the word Ezrach mean? What does Ezrach mean? By Sukkah it seems to apply both, and by Yom Kippur it seems to apply only men. You need an additional riboy for women. Amar Rabba, the Gemara answers. Amar Rabba says, Hilchas Ninhu. One of these halachas, whether it's Sukkah or Yom Kippur, is a halacha l'Moshe Sinai. One of them is a halacha l'Moshe Sinai, meaning the pasuk is not the true source, because that pasuk is not giving the right, because the way we learn is not going to be the pasuk's true meaning. So and the Rabbanan just use the pasuk to support their halacha l'Moshe Sinai. So really, Ezra has only one meaning. The other has only one meaning, and that's going to either apply by Yom Kippur or going to apply by Sukkah. Sukkah is a mitzvah sasei magrama. That it's time based. We know that women are part and all mitzvah sasei magrama. So you shouldn't need any pasuk or any halacha Moshe Sinai to exclude ladies from the mitzvah of mitzvah of Sukkah.
Well, it's not sure yet. It's in Hilchas the Krah, because we're not sure yet which one is it, the halacha or is it the Krah.
Right. But either one,
that's the Gemara saying. Either one
wouldn't be necessary.
It's interesting it says both, because we didn't decide yet which one is the.
But I think it means even on Yom Kippur.
Oh, Yom Kippur.
Yeah, it's coming to say even on, and that's what the Gemara's next line is. Sukkah, that's one. Sukkah mitzvah sasei shazman grama. Chol mitzvah sasei shazman grama nasha b'turais. That's one. Then the Gemara says v'yom kippurim and Yom Kippur. We know that the women are chayiv in the fast of Yom Kippur from Yehuda Amarav. The
you don't need a makar.
Right, you don't need a makar. So which
both of them you don't need
for both of them. So whichever one you can use, whether you can use the halacha mashma Sinai, or you can use the pasuk. Both of them aren't necessary because both dinim we will know. We will know
from other sources.
From other sources. What is that? The Amar Rabbi Yehuda Marav, v'chein Tana Devei Rabbi Shmuel, Amakra. The pasuk says, Ish Isha. There's a pasuk that talks about Gezela, someone making a false shvua after someone making a false shvua after Gezela. So the pasuk means the pasuk says over here, the pasuk's talking about someone making a false shvua after Gezela, and it says Ish Isha. And the Torah and the Gemara says Hishva Kasav. We make it Rasha Hishva Kasav. The Torah equated Isha le'ish, woman to men. L'chol einchin Shabbat Torah. From that pasuk, we learn that men and women are equal when it comes to all the einchin and Torah, which means all the lavin. Men and women are both chayven equally. So we see from over there, right? So this is the end of the second question, because we see from this pasuk Ish and Isha that for any lav, woman and men are chayiv equally. So for Yom Kippur, you sure need the extra hay to include woman in the fast and the ino of Yom Kippur, because we shall learn it from over here from Ish and Isha, which includes men and women in all einchin.
You could learn it either way. Either from the fact that nashim are pater, or anything that says mangrama, they're pater totally. So you don't need a makar, or you could say that they're totally chayav from Ish Isha.
Correct.
But
we don't know.
Each one's addressing the halacha. I'm sorry, sukkah. We should know women are pater. For sure they should be pater. You don't need any source because mitzvah say shazman grama. All women are pater. Mitzvah say shazman grama.
Right.
So I don't need anything by sukkah.
So I don't need anything by sukkah. Now, would you need any source for woman's chiyuv by Yom Kippur? You shouldn't need any source for that either because Ish Isha for all lavin and all ancient in the Torah. A woman have the same chiyuv as men when it comes to lavin. A woman doesn't have the same chiyuv when it comes to mitzvah say, but for all lavin, a woman has the same chiyuv. Okay, so now, this
in the kasha before we did the second kasha,
right?
We first asked the kasha from Yom Kippur with the hay, right? So first we were saying that the hay is coming to exclude, and in the second Shabbat Yom Kippur we're saying that the hay is coming to include. So, but we learned before that what is it? Dikduke Torah. So what is the rule by a hay? Like a vav is always connecting the thing before. So is the hay is it inclusive or is it exclusive?
So
are they being chaylik on what a hay does?
You gotta ask
Zakai, who spoke the other Gemara. He knew every riboy in the Torah, every S and every hay. So I'm not sure. I hear the Shaila. I'm not sure if he knew that there are some hays that could be including, some could be excluding. Maybe there's no one
something different.
Something different. The extra hay is being marred by something. I think that's what it is. I'm not sure. Or Mamai, right? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know for sure. But maybe the extra hay could either be Marba or be Mamai, and that's Rabbi Yochanan Zaki. He knew every riboy and every miyut in the Torah. So this is what we got to yesterday. So now the Gemara is going to address the questions. Amar Abaya. First, we're going to address Sukkah. Amar Abaya. Abaya says, La'olam, really, Sukkah. That noshim are pata from Sukkah, Hilchasa. That's a halacha l'Moshe Sinai. We're answering the first question, which one's the pasuk? Which one is the halacha Moshe Sinai? First, we're going to address Sukkah. Sukkah is the halacha l'Moshe Sinai. That noshim are part as halacha Moshe Sinai. So now, just think for a second. The pasuk Ezrach the pasuk Ezrach would mean men. Hay would be including the woman. And the halacha Moshe Sinai says don't follow this rule by sukkah, and rather say that women are excluded. So the real way to learn right now is that Ezrach means men, but that's what we're saying right now. That we know that a woman are pater from sukkah from halacha Moshe Sinai. Without it, I wouldn't know women are pater. Why? Because it must be that Ezrach means men. And the ha'ezrach, the hay which it says there, is including women, like Yom Kippur. So Yom Kippur, we see the true way to learn is from Yom Kippur.
Do we ever answer Seichas Grama?
That's the next piece.
The mitzvah Seichas Grama.
Has to. Because that's the next kasha.
Right.
Next kasha is fine. So that answers which one is the pasuk, which one's the halacha Moshe Sinai. Now, what are you going to do about the halacha mishmesina? Why don't you halacha mishmesina?
Right now it's answered.
Right.
Oh,
The itzterach, and yet you need halacha mishum Sinai.
even though
Woman are potter, you still need it. Why? Because sal kadai chamina. I would think to say, teishvu kein teduru. You have to dwell in the sukkah like you live in your house, right? Again, the itzterach. Let's have the itzterach, and I need halacha mishum Sinai. And I can't learn from mitzvahs asay shezman groma, the woman potter. I need halacha mishum Sinai to exclude women, because I cannot exclude him from the normal klal of mitzvahs asay shezman groma nashim p'tureis. Right? That's what we have to know. That's what the itzrich is doing over here. Itzrich, and I need a special exclusion of women. I wouldn't know it from mitzvahs asay shezman groma. Why? Because I would think to say, Teishu came to do. You live in your sukkah like you live in your house. Madira ish v'ishtoi, just like you live in your house, ish v'ishtoi, av sukkah ish v'ishtoi. So do when you're in the sukkah, it should be ish v'ishtoi. Kamash malon, that halacha mishum Sinai tells us that no, that women are potter. You would think women should be a chayiv, part of Teishu came to do. The women are potter. The Kamash Malan is the halacha mishum Sinai. The women are potter. However, just an interesting thing to point out that in halacha it's brought down that a person, if he's able to, he should try to design a sukkah that could also that they can have his wife in there as well. Why? Because they say a woman is potter from Teishu came to do. But when the man is in the sukkah, the man should be there in the optimal way possible. And for a man's chiyuv to have a better kiyum of the man's chiyuv, his wife should be there not for her mitzvah, so that he has a better fulfillment of the mitzvah of Teishu came to do in the sukkah.
like per who?
That it's the man's chiyuv,
Right, but she has.
but she's enabling him to do the mitzvah.
So this would be for married woman?
Yes, this would be for married woman.
So the Sabbatai, let's say a single girl, it's not part of Tishu Game to do.
Unless it enhances it for her father. That's mashpach, it's not sukkah, it's an enhancement, you know?
But Rabbi Yosef Chaim Zanfeld has an interesting tshuva where he says, let's say you're in a warmer climate where a woman would be comfortable sleeping in the sukkah, but it's a small sukkah and only children. And you put your child in the sukkah, and your child on the bar mitzvah who doesn't have chiyah, but you want to put him in the sukkah. So he says, better the child should be inside and your wife should be outside. It's more important if a full the mitzvah, if your wife can be inside, then the wife can be inside, and the young children should be outside. Okay. Say, I don't know that. That's an interesting shaila. He didn't say that in the tshuva. I only heard it said over, and I don't know if he's referring to Kaddish Shigilach.
Shabban versus Torah.
So probably not.
Right. So then, right.
First.
Okay, they're going to be first. Interesting. That's what it seemed like. Okay, so now Rava says, Rava says, it's terech. Rava gives another reason, a second reason, why you still need halacha al Moshe Sinai, and you're not going to learn from mitzvah sasei shazman groma. Why would you not be able to learn that women are potter just from this klal of mitzvah sasei shazman groma? So Rav Amar Itzrach, you need halacha Moshe Sinai to exclude women, and we're not going to learn from the mitzvah sasei shazman groma nashim p'turis. Why? Because over here I would say sal kadai techamina. I would think to say Yolif. We should learn a gezerah shava. We saw this before. Yolif, we should learn a gezerah shava. Chamisha asar. It says chamisha asar by sukkah, and chamisha asar michag hamatzos. And it says chamisha asar by Pesach, the first night of Pesach.
Yeah, it's Afim Loisenas.
Oh, one second, Reb Chaim. I have this on my mind. I'm waiting to say this, Reb Chaim. Wait. Malahalon. I know you mentioned this yesterday. Yeah, the Shaila. Malahalon. Just like by Pesach, Noshim Chayavos, women are chayiv. Over there, there's a special limit that whoever is included in not eating chametz has to eat matzah. Okay, but Malahalon, just like over there by Pesach, Noshim Chayavos. Afkan, you might say from the Gezerah Shava, Noshim Chayavos, you should be chayiv in Sukkah. Kamash Malon, that we're teaching over here. That's why the halacha Moshe Sinai teaches you that women are excluded, women are pater.
And don't say that.
And don't say, and I'm sorry.
Don't learn chamisha.
Right, yeah, exactly. Don't learn the Gezerah Shava.
First night.
Right, from the first night of Minchi that we learned last time. Right. So you would think to say that you have the Gzeir Shabbat that the woman should be chayiv, and Kamash Malon that the halacha Mishmesina says don't learn that, don't follow this Gzeir Shabbat. Okay, Reb Chaim is asking a big shaila that the Mefarshim deal with. That why, ladies, we know that ladies are chayiv. There's ladies have a chayiv in certain mitzvahs to say because afhein ayu baisanes regarding Chanukah the chayiv. Megillah, the chayiv. So there's something that whenever they're included in the salvation and the nes, then they should be included in the celebration of it and the commemoration of it. So why over here, when in mitzvah sukkah, shouldn't women be chayiv? So there's a few answers. One of the answers given is that afhein ayu nes only talks about afhein ayu only talks about mitzvahs derabanan, Megillah, Chanukah, but not mitzvahs deraisa.
Matzah, the Gemara uses.
Well, so what's the reason we
Gemara
see
uses
the
for
sukkah?
matzah.
The Gemara uses afhein ayu banetz, but 1 second. The chiyah for a woman by matzah is from the psukim. The psukim says that whoever the pasuk says that you have to keep away from chametz and eat matzah. Whoever's chayiv in eating matzah has to keep away. Whoever's chayiv in keep away from chametz has to eat matzah. So that's one answer. Another answer given, which I had a little difficulty with, that it says because only with the ladies are goyim the nes. If they were the goyim the nes,
With this.
But the nest has nothing to do with the sukkah. Even my sukkah, there's no nace in the sukkah. What nace was the sukkah? The sukkah we sit because of that. What I guess maybe the nana cover.
So that's what I was thinking.
Unless the nana cover, maybe it was
The other
a
in the
nace.
first part, yeah.
Into that tzad.
Right.
Then it would be. Then it would be.
I guess.
And Hanukkah was was
Yehudas. And
wine.
I had a shaila. I mean, they say there's a chazal that says b'schus nashim sitkani as yatzim mitzrayim. That it says the chazal said that the ladies.
This is Pesach Seder stuff. This is.
No, it's this expression.
Yeah.
You should get ready. Buy you this Pesach. Get ready.
So I don't know. I was wondering, but maybe you don't say the ness of being sheltered in the midbar. That's a separate thing from leaving Mitzrayim. Maybe that's a reason. I think there are more answers. Those are the two answers that I heard.
You said a couple of weeks ago that Hanukkah was not actually anything to do with Sukkah. Just is that like a not like a memory. Not like
No,
a
the
seer.
first part says.
There are two reasons. There are two reasons for Sukkah: either to zeichet Anania covered, or to zeichet to the actual sukkahs that they built.
Right, they even say it's not.
None of them
It's not
say-
actually anything. It's not directed at the nace at all.
Right. None of them were the nace.
Not
No,
direct-
It has nothing to do with ETS and
Oh, you
Tzray.
see that right.
Right.
Oh, it's in the chiluk. It's in the chiluk.
Yeah.
Nothing to attack. It's nothing to do with the season of Zion. It's this whole separate nest that we was zeichet to in the midbar. So we don't find the b'schus nashim sitkani as we was zeichet to sukkahs. So maybe that's not. So it's not nothing to do with Mitzrayim. So that's like okay. Gewaldig. Okay, so now let's get to the dot over there, because this is one hemshech of the Gemara here. The Hashta, now the Gemara says, so Rabbi say, if we think about Sukkah, we're only dealing with Sukkah right now, we'll deal with Yom Kippur in a minute. We're dealing with Sukkah, and it comes out that we have Ezrach by Sukkah, which means men. Ha-Ezrach, the Hey, includes women. We have Allah al Sinai that says, don't go with that, and women are really potter. But why now do we need the Ha-Ezrach? What do we do with it? Ha-Ezrach is using the Hey in including woman or including someone. What's the Hey by Ha-Ezrach doing? Hey is always an extra. Ezrach mean men or right? So what is the Hey doing now? The Hashtadamit, now that you said Sukkah, Hilchasa, that the Sukkah is your Allah al Sinai, and we're not learning anything from Sukkah there. Kra Lamali. What do I do with the pasuk Ha-Ezrach? By Sukkot. Kra, the pasuk of Ha-Ezrach by Sukkot, Lamali. What is it doing? It has to be coming for something. Kra Lamali. What is the Ha-Ezrach by Sukkot doing? That's a question mark after Lamali. Kra Lamali. The Gemara answers L'Rabbis Es HaGeirim, coming to include Geirim. Ha-Ezrach is coming to include Gerim. Why? Kama. Because Salakadaita Chamina, I would think to say Ha-Ezrach B'Yisrael. The Ezrach B'Yisrael, those that descended from Yidden. Ha-Ezrach B'Yisrael, those that descended from Yidden, Omer Achmana. That's what the Torah is referring to. V'loi Es HaGeirim, and not the Gerim. Kamash Malon, the extra hey in ha'ezrach says no, include Gerim in this mitzvah.
So that answers my shaila also. The hay would be inclusive.
The hay would be inclusive. That would be, maybe there's a uniform across the board, right? The hay is always inclusive. I did hear a pshat that the Mefarshim speak out that why would the Betzad that Gerim should be excluded? We don't find Gerim are excluded from any mitzvahs because if this mitzvah commemorated the going out of mitzvah,
Right? Isn't there a shaila about them on Pesach saying the whole thing?
All right, the parts of
Right,
the
saying,
Haggadah.
our father, my father did this, their father didn't.
So that's what the Mefarshim speak out. That would be the tzad that Gerim shouldn't be included because Gerim were not they didn't leave Mitzrayim. So what are they commemorating by? So they maybe they shouldn't be.
But if the sukkah is not nothing to do with actual Yitzis
no, but even the part of Sukkot they weren't there. They weren't there for when HaKadosh Baruch Hu sheltered us either. We didn't have Gerim then. So they say that would be a tzad that Gerim shouldn't be.
Aren't Gerim always chayav the same mitzvahs as Nashim?
Gerim would have,
Oh,
but the Gerim would have. But here they were saying that they were talking about tzad that they should be included. So now let's just finish up this Gemara, the last 2 lines here. So now we just address Sukkah. Sukkah is Taka Halacha Moshe Sinai. Sukkah is Halacha Moshe Sinai, and we can't learn it out from that. We can't learn their Patur from Mitzvah Sashay says Mangrama. We have 2 different reasons. Either because you would think Chamish also from Pesach that should be Chayiv, or because Teshuvit Kei Duru.
Now, why can Halacha Moshe Sinai be telling me that the hay is being learned the other way now? The Halacha Moshe, you were saying that you're answering the Halacha Moshe Sinai is telling you that over here women are excluded. But before before the pshat we were saying was that the Halacha Moshe Sinai is telling you that whatever the normal way of learning it is, over here it's the opposite.
But
so why can Halacha Moshe tell you the hay over here is the opposite? That whole goof is Halacha Moshe Sinai.
Could the Halacha the Yeshayim is could the Halacha Moshe Sinai negate a pasuk? I mean the Rosh is a pasuk, right?
And the kasha we were saying one has a pasuk, and that's the regular way to learn it. The other one's Halacha Moshe Sinai tell you that don't learn the regular way, but learn the pshat the other way.
So that's initially what I thought yesterday. But I think that it's not the Halacha Moshe Sinai. I don't think the Halacha Moshe Sinai negates a pasuk. It tells us don't learn the way the pasuk would teach you.
Right. So why can it be telling you that?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I
don't
don't
the hay the way it's normally teaching over here. I looked at Halacha Moshe Sinai. Even though hay normally is included, over here the hay is going to be excluded.
Why do I need the hay to exclude? If Ezra already is only men, why do I need to add the hay to exclude women? They're already excluded by Ezra. So it must be it's telling you
That's
just
very
don't do the read book.
Yaakov sounding good. Then you'd be out of Shiloh. Then just stick with Ezra. Then it's good Shemaka.
Right.
But I wonder, and I don't know how all Halacha Moshe Sinai's work.
So you can't learn the kasha that way, then.
Right. You can't learn the kasha negating. It's not negating. It's not negating. You're right. It's not negating. It's telling us that learn differently, Taka. Learn. I mean, not learn the pasuk differently, but the halacha should be not like you would deduce from the pasuk. Right. Okay. Let's just finish up over here. The last few lines over here. Yom Kippurim. We spoke now we're done with Yom Kippur. Yom Kippur we also asked Yom Kippurim. The Gemara asked earlier, so we can put a period after Kamash Malan. After Kamash Malan is a period because that's finishing Sukkah. We finished with Sukkah. Now says the Gemara Yom Kippurim. We spoke it earlier. The Yom Kippur. We know from Yehuda Rav that said Ish v'Isha, women are included in all the lavin and all the punishments of the Torah. So therefore, of course, they have to keep to the Isurim on Yom Kippur, the Inoy of Yom Kippur, the affliction of Yom Kippur. So that's a question mark. So Gemara says, Loi nitzvacha. So what do you need again? So what do you need the ha'ezrach, the hay? I'm sorry, let's get back. What do you need the hay, the ha'ezrach by Yom Kippur? Loi nitzvacha. The drasha of ha'ezrach isn't needed. Loi nitzvacha. The drasha of ha'ezrach isn't needed. Ella only the tesefes inoi. For tesefes inoi, which means the additional affliction, which is, you can write on the side, the day leading into Yom Kippur. We learned from the Sukkah that Yom Kippur we should start already the day going in. As we go in to the nighttime, we should already stop a little bit earlier. So you need this pasuk to teach that women are chayiv in this additional time of affliction. Right, so we don't need the ha'ezrach to include woman, only for the additional affliction, which is the day leading into Yom Kippur. Sal Kadaita Chamina. Why? Because Sal Kadaita Chamina, I would think that maybe not. Why? Hoyel, since Umit Rachmana, the Torah excluded the Tesefes Inoi, the additional time of Inoi, of affliction, Me'oinish Umeazara, from punishments and from lavin. The additional time, those few hours going into Yom Kippur, there's no karis and there's no lav. There's no malchus and there's no karis.
What, being over Yom Kippur?
But yeah, any of these surah on Yom Kippur, any of these surah, the time period going in from the daytime, the additional time that we add onto the day, going into Yom Kippur, there's only an assay that you should add on time. But there's we don't do malacha because it is mitzvah assay. But there's no, but it's not as stringent in the sense that there's no malchus and there's no karis. So you might think if the Torah treats that time period leniently, salak daita chamina, I would have thought to say hoyel since umiyat rachmana, the Torah excluded let the sevis inay, the time, the additional time of affliction, me'oinish from any punishments, umeazara from any lav. So too, loinis chayv nashim klal. Women shouldn't be chayv in this time period at all, because generally a woman's chiyuv when it comes to mitzvahs is always less than a man's. So maybe when the Torah treats us a little lightly, so maybe women aren't chayv in it at all. Kamash malon, the hay of ha'ezrach comes to tell us that a woman is chayiv just as a man is in these additional few hours of going into Yom Kippur.
And regular Yom Kippur, we know from Isha.
Yeah.
Good.
Gavaldik. Okay. Baruch Hashem.